Oh no, I broke the shell. Hello, darlings. So for this week's video, which will be next week's video, I had wanted to grab, without looking, a card from my family craft cards set that I got a few weeks ago. I wanted to just pick one at random and be like, okay, we're going to do this craft today. We're going to get real creative with it. And that'll be the video, right? Pick one at random, get it done. But I was thinking, all these other vintage craft and art projects that I've been trying to do, I 9 times out of 10 don't have the materials needed to complete them. A, because I don't just have like a big stockpile of craft, creative, art supplies. And B, because a lot of them are vintage crafts that the supplies are weird and I have to find some sort of interesting replacement for. And C, a lot of these are, as I was going through them a few weeks ago, they're crafts that even if I had a stockpile of art supplies, I wouldn't have stuff for a lot of these things. So I figured it was going to be safer if I just pick one now and then I can go buy the supplies and do all the things that I need. So it's not going to get done today. It'll be done next week, but it's still the same. It's still the same vibe, right? We're just going to pick one. It is still going to be really random. I am then going to attempt to do it to the best of my ability once I get the things. I can't imagine there's going to be really anything in here that I'd have all the supplies for. If there is, then great. Then maybe it will all just happen today. We will see. All right. So yeah, I found this on Etsy for, not very much money. I want to say like about $20. Shipping was a lot because it is heavy. It just seemed fun. It seemed interesting. I want to give it a shot. There are 27 categories, everything from batik, beadwork, and collage to patchwork, fancy dress, applique, and needle weaving. So I'm going to close my eyes. We're going to pick one at random. Okay, here we go. This could be fun. Natural jewelry. All right, I will need peach stones, like peach pits. There are earrings made out of peach pits. Pendant mounts. I have a jewelry repair kit. I wonder if that'll have it in there. Jump rings. I know that that's in there. Earring mounts to make pendant earrings. Lamb neck bones of suitable shape without cracks or breaks. I don't have any lamb bones sticking around, and I don't eat lamb. We'll see. Brooch mounts. I actually probably have some of those because since I do collect vintage jewelry, which does tend to kind of fall apart on you, I do have a jewelry repair kit that has a lot of these things in it. Brooch mounts, epoxy resin glue, do not have and have needed for a few things. So I think that's the thing I'm going to need to purchase. Gold, silver, copper paints, don't have any of that. I have some gold spray paint. Maybe that could work. Varnish, small brush, don't have that. Jewelry players do have selection of small shells. I live in San Francisco. I go to the beach all the time. So there are just random shells and rocks and things that I find pretty when I'm at the beach around my house. So that I can do. Strong thread needle, skewer, and small hammer. I have no interest in making and wearing lamb bone jewelry, but I don't, peach pits, also interesting. I think I'm gonna stick with shells, rocks, that sort of thing. And we're just gonna make some jewelry. Again, this is, I never in a million years would have thought about making earrings from peach pits. It's not quite peach season. As a Californian, should I do avocado pits? I'll start sprouting. I mean, bone brooches, shell necklace, peach stone earrings. I think this could be really interesting. I'm gonna find a way to make this work with most of the things that I have. I'm gonna have to do some collecting, but I still do think I'm gonna need some epoxy resin glue. Although I have some jewelry glue that could work. Maybe I can just tackle this. We will see. Stay tuned for the Field and Forest Crafts Natural Jewelry card number 127. lots of pieces of things, lovely natural pieces, but nothing that our little card requested. The peach bits, we actually did have 2 nectarines, so that I could, if I wanted to, use them to make the earrings that are on here, but someone in the house ate one and then threw it away, so I only have 1. The lamb bones, still wasn't about to go cook and eat lamb for the sake of this, because it's just not a thing that I enjoy. So I do enjoy, however, going to the beach, and I figured I could find at the beach maybe some, you know, crab shell pieces or maybe some bird pieces, something already existing, but there really wasn't anything. My dog did a great job looking, but there really wasn't anything. So I came back with quite a few pieces of shells and rocks, but nothing that would allow me to kind of create this puka shell necklace they've got going here. It is really looking for me to either just bead these things, glue them to some earring backs. It says shells bought or collected make stylish necklaces. I don't have any bones, so I really do need to figure out what I can make. I did find in my jewelry repair kit there is a little ring form, and there could actually be something very cool there, but I also don't want to waste things for the sake of just doing this creative project. I really want it to be ideally something I'd like to wear or that someone would like to wear. I just haven't got a clue what that is, so I really do need to figure out how to use the pieces that I have, how to make it look interesting without feeling like I'm wasting these beautiful shells. Had a wonderful day at the beach. I would like to, you know, make a memento, but what would that even look like? So I need to figure that out. So unfortunately, I've become a person who doesn't actually have a small hoard of paints and brushes and supplies and all of that, which I'm gonna have to rectify soon. So I do need to go to a craft store and find some basic supplies, because I did decide that while I don't have any bones, I didn't find anything at the beach. Although my dog did catch a small animal out in the backyard yesterday. He was trying to help, I guess, but I was not about to do anything to get the bones out of that thing. I really do want to use something that we have. And I do want to make something that will actually get worn, right? So I don't want to just whack on some gold spray paint and just sort of have it for the sake of having it. So I did find, while I was looking for paintbrushes, first of all, I don't have any small paintbrushes, so we'll see how this is going to go, but I did find, from when I did many years ago, I gilded some bricks on the inside of my fireplace because we decided we weren't going to use it as a, you know, true log burning fireplace for just lots of reasons. So I gilded the bricks so that we put candles in there, and it really reflects, and it's warm, and it's lovely. I have some leftover gold leaf, and this is gold and silver, but I think it's just gold. We'll find out. And I've got some adhesive. I don't know if this is still good. I also, like I said, I don't have a small brush. So I did find just this brush that I think I got when I was on this kick. I was really kind of wallpapering and repainting all of the trim in my house, because my house is from the 50s. I am trying to restore it back to sort of that era. Things are, you know, a little dingy, and I was really on a tear with that. Project had to stop for a moment just due to some health stuff, but I have the supplies. So we're gonna see if I can get some gold leaf on this big-ish shell piece here. It's got a beautiful texture. I don't know if it can get focused at all, or you can see it, but it's this really beautiful shell texture, but it's not brightly colored. It's definitely been worn down by time. And again, I don't want to just whack spray paint on it. So we're going to see if we can get some gold leaf. If not, I might have to, again, make a run to a craft store tomorrow. Try getting some buff and rub. Or is it rub and buff? I'm not sure. But maybe get some of that and try it. That could be really cool. But I'm going to try, since I have it, using this gold leaf. So my thought is to take the biggest of the shells, get it gold leafed, and I think the idea would be to wear it kind of that way. And I found in my jewelry repair kit, which I think is meant to be for like necklaces when you're kind of attaching two kind of chain sides, but I think I can get it on here. I did find some jewelry and metal glue. Again, this is my vintage jewelry repair kit, so I do have that. But I think if I get this on here, I could use maybe a beautiful ribbon, or something else, maybe something sort of naturally, although I think like a beautiful silk ribbon would be really pretty. I think that's what I'm gonna go for. So attaching this either on its own or with some glue, getting a beautiful ribbon, and then actually having this be just really gilded. I think that's the plan. So grab some paper so I wouldn't mess up my sewing area horrendously, and we're gonna see if this works. So again, it may not, you're finding out with me. Okay. I think I remember how to do this, is you've got to put it on and sort of let it hang out. Oh, I don't even know if this will go in there. Let's see. Like popsicle stick. Let's see what we've got. Found a clothespin. I have a million of these, so I'm not too worried. Oh, this stuff is, oh, this is solidified. Okay. Pretty sure that's not going to work. Okay. I'm wondering if maybe just like good old Elmer's glue, which I do have some of. Oh, that does not smell good either. Okay, we're going to have to dispose of this. There is, so far on my rediscovery of creativity journey, there's been a lot of learning how to dispose of vintage or just plain old craft supplies, which is unfortunate, but not unexpected entirely. So let me see what I've got. So of course, as I started the project, the camera died and I was in the middle of a gold leaf application, so I couldn't stop. But we've now got this beautiful gilded shell, and again, I don't know if this will stay. I'm not sure what the actual outcome will be. I do think I also, beyond needing paints and brushes and all sorts of just basic supplies, I do think I need some sort of like clear varnish on this. I mean, I've got, you know, they suggest like an enamel. They suggest an epoxy resin and some varnish to go over this. I don't have any of those. So I'm gonna need some sort of something, I think, to keep it intact if I'm gonna actually wear this as a piece of jewelry. Oh, this is really beautiful. I feel like maybe I need to get the edges. And then the question is, do I gild the back? Do I leave it? So I'm gonna do another one just because the process wasn't caught on camera. So we'll do another one. And little bit of Elmer's. I'm gonna do it all around the edges this time, which I didn't do last time. Get our brush in there. Brush, brush, brush. Get all of the edges. Get it really nice and thin. See, when I was doing the bricks, I don't think there was anything that I put on top of the gilding in terms of like varnish or whatever. But I think, again, if I want to wear this, that's going to be something I maybe need to figure out. Okay, so we got the glue on there. It's hanging out. First time it got stuck to my thumb, so maybe now I can actually do it without that happening. It is so fiddly. Place that on there. Oh no! Let's get some of this. Although that doesn't look bad. I like that. Get in there. Brush this off. Making some texture, which I think is very cool. It's not like a solid gold sheet, which does make it look more natural. I like that. And I'm getting gold. Literal gold. If I do want to wear these as jewelry, which I think I'm going to really want to now. Like I was unsure before. Look at that, it's so cool. Look at how just beautiful that is. And then so that's the back. I think I do want to keep it natural on the back. And then this one, I think because the brush, again, the brush is not made for doing this at all. It's sort of made this interesting pebble texture, which I think just adds to it. I think it's beautiful. Maybe I will do some more. I'm not sure. But I had such fun gathering these shells and these pieces, and living where I live, I'm a 10-minute drive from the beach, which I think people don't really think about when they think about San Francisco. I live in the middle of a major urban metropolitan area, but I'm really close to the beach. So I know how lucky I am to be able to decide to do a craft project and just hop in the car and go to the beach and have a great day out with the dog to boot. So I know how lucky I am, and I'm so excited to try this. Now, clearly I need to let these things dry. I need to start creating a list of all the craft projects that I want to do so that I can go get some supplies. And then I think I have time. I'm going to choose my next project. And it sounds crazy, but I've finished the embroidery. Oh, I'm just going to show you the embroidery. Here she is. I think she came out so great, and I can't wait to give her to my mom. I love that she made it for me when I was a kid, and I've made it for her now. Okay, so while I wait for the gold leaf to do whatever it is that it's going to do, and I also wait for me to have to go into a crafting field trip to go get some art supplies, which I'm not upset about, I just need to do it. I did decide that I want to start another project because, as you saw, I finished the embroidery project, which is a gift for my mom. So that's all done. So that was sort of, embroidery is one of my favorite things. But it is very time intensive. It takes a long time. And so I haven't really been able to engage in anything else. And if you've been following along, and there are a few of you that are, this whole thing is basically starting out as, you know, my year of creativity. Basically what it is I work with creative clients all day long, and because I was so enmeshed and immersed in my business, I was really letting my personal creativity for creativity's sake sort of fall by the wayside. And so this year, I really wanted to challenge myself to engage in creative acts, do crafts, art projects, go creative places, really sort of farm some inspiration. So that includes a lot of things, from doing kind of arts and crafts to maybe learning some new fine art techniques, to going to museums, libraries, anything culturally relevant and interesting. And I'm really lucky to live in a location that has a lot of these available to me. So that is all wrapped up in me doing a lot of these things this year and really prioritizing engaging in creativity. So I am very excited to start kind of multiple projects at a time, because now that that big embroidery project is finished, I can. And so while I wait for the natural jewelry from the family craft cards box, while I wait for it to do what it's going to do, I came up here to my office to look in my pile. I keep thinking I want to try knitting, and I have been watching a lot of knitting videos on YouTube. The algorithm very much thinks I am a master knitter. I haven't started it yet, but I think I might soon, because I was able to find this amazing vintage knitting needle holder, and these are very cool in that it's the flexible round one, and these are from the 70s. They're aluminum. They have all the different sizes. It is missing some pieces, but I am in love with it just for the sheer design fabulousness of it. It is almost enough to make me really say, okay, this is it. I'm going to learn to knit. Not ready for that yet, though, I decided. So I did find, I've showed this in the last video, I think the Chonky yarn project, and I decided, why not just do that one. So this is called the Happiest of Crafts Bear Knot Quickpoint. It's for a special and brilliant beauty in home decoration. It is to make a chair cover. There is also an image of a pillow on here, so I'm wondering if this can also just be made into a regular pillow. I do have a pillow form. In theory, I'm saving it for a friend's Christmas gift because I'm going to be creating a pillow for her. But maybe I kind of commandeer that and I make this into a pillow. We'll see when we get started, but I'm excited to get started on this. I do have some client calls today, so I think unfortunately this is either going to have to wait until way later in the afternoon or maybe even tomorrow after I get home from the art supply store. Hopefully I'll be able to do that tomorrow as well. So I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so it is the next day and I got some supplies. I'm going to a new gym and there is a fantastic art supply store really close to there, and it seems to be very, independently owned, and it caters to art students. So I got a few things. Was a few of the things I was thinking about for this project. Some of them I just sort of grabbed thinking I do need a little arts and crafts hoard if I'm going to continue on my, year of creativity. So I got some spray adhesive, multi-purpose, which I think would have been great to help me with the gold leaf, but I think it'll help with other things too. I got some brushes. I got some really nice ones in case I do decide to do a painting. I got some sort of less expensive ones for projects like these. I got a couple. I got like a craft acrylic paint and just a cute pink. Since I'm doing some of these, vintage crafts, I thought this very 50s pink might be a good thing to get. And then I got just a mix of kind of the old school acrylics for all sorts of things, and it's the basic primary colors, black and white. And I got some of the Rub and Buff in antique gold. So there's a few projects that I think I'm going to want to use this for. I'm going to try it on one of these shells and see just how that works. But I'm excited. So now I have like a nice little store of things to use and kind of things to try out, and I don't know, it'll be fun. And hopefully this will get finished today, and then, like I said, I do think I want to start on that chunky yarn chair cushion project. Although as I'm sitting here, I'm realizing that my giant pile of like things to dye and mend and maybe do some visible embroidery is sitting here, and that's looking really attractive as well. But let's try this first. All right, I don't even know what the instructions are on this. Break it open. What's the texture like of this stuff? Ah, that is a lot more like paint than I guess I expected. I don't know why. I don't know if that's the texture it's supposed to be. That's the texture it is. All right, let me get a rag. I don't know if this is supposed to be color or if it just doesn't, it's not going to work on this sort of naturally organic-y texture, because I know that people use it for like on brass and things when you're trying to kind of redo some finishings on metal. I think I am going to have to look up what this is supposed to be like, because this just doesn't feel right to me. I don't know why. Let's see. Yeah, so what I can tell from sort of the videos is that this is supposed to be not quite so liquid. There we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. Ooh, there's the wax action. Okay, so I'm using the gold leaf color. I'll show it to you next to actual gold leaf. Very different, right? The wax one, not surprisingly, a lot duller than real gold. That's okay. Let's see what this is. Is this going to stay? It seems like once I got the extra leaf off, this might actually be a go. Okay, so we're going to let that Rub and Buff one dry. Oh, that was the other thing I got. So I got some cord. I just got this, I got gold all over my fingers, this little waxed cord that I thought could be really pretty, sort of natural to use to hang it with, because I didn't have any silk cord. They didn't have any at the art supply shop. He suggested using embroidery thread, which I don't know, we'll see. But this is really thin, but it's waxed, and it's meant for book binding. They had a whole book binding section, so I think there is like a bookbinding school over there. I'm gonna take the little, I don't even know if you can see it, the tiny little, it's sort of being used like a bail on a necklace, but it's not actually one. Put it on there. Let's get this squeezed on here. Okay. Ooh, now that I hit it like that, that could be interesting. Instead of like that. Alright, I think I'm going to stick with my original vision though. Okay, is that there? Let's see. Okay, and then put my cord through. Absolutely did not stick. I think I've got to glue this little guy. Let's try once more. The reason I'm kind of hesitant to glue it, because if I really don't like it as a piece of jewelry, and again, I'm doing this simply to follow the natural jewelry card as close as possible. And I've, you know, we've got the gold paint, we've got our animal parts. If I really hate it and I don't end up, you know, never wanting to wear it, I want it to be able to use it as a decorative thing easily. Oh no, I broke the shell. Oh, delicate. Okay. Oh, that's a bummer. Okay, but now this is on here. Do you stay now? Oh, you do. Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. There is my natural jewelry. It's actually kind of cool. This very 70s dress that I've got going right now, it works. All right, well, it works. Again, I don't know if this is something I'm going to reach for. I do actually like it. We'll see. It's fun. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I just picked this card at random. I'm glad I did this project. It was fun, and it did lead me to going to find this a very cool art supply store in my city that I didn't know existed, and to, you know, kind of gathering a small hoard of supplies so that I can do some of these other projects I want to do and that I've been collecting without, you know, not having the proper tools. So I'm excited about that. So if nothing else, I'm calling this a win because it led me to all of those things. Chores are done for now. And I decided I do want to do the Quickpoint. At least want to get it started today, just because, I don't know, it's been kicking around and it just seems really fun, and I want to just get started on it. So, I want to get started on this, but before I do, as I sat down, realized this giant stack of books next to me. The other thing I found on the way to the art supply store yesterday was a Friends of the Library sort of like little warehouse where they were doing a book sale. And so I popped in. Do I need any more books? Absolutely not. Did I find the two little old ladies in there that were working absolutely adorable? Totally. So they were so cute and they were so nice, and it was such a lovely little community thing, and I really want to support the libraries. So I popped in and got a few books. So I figured I would share what I got since they were sitting right here, because I haven't found a place on any bookshelf to put them yet. I got a classic sci-fi novel, The End of Eternity by Isaac Asimov, right? And this is like one of the original kind of printings. It's got purple oh, I love when you find old things like ephemera in books. This one, if you want to learn how to be an accountant, you can learn from Isaac Asimov. This was right next to it, and it totally makes sense. This is about the concept of time travel, and the book, The Time Machine, how it really introduced this idea into popular consciousness and how we've dealt with it in, you know, movies, film, books, TV, and it just seems really interesting. Seems like it could be just something really fun. So grabbed that as well. Found this gorgeous old bound copy of The Arabian Nights from Dutton's Books in North Hollywood, California. I mean, it's lovely. There's, you know, the 1940s, 50s illustrations. So here we go. Got that one. I've got this vintage cookbook called The 10th Muse by Sir Harry Luke. So I collect vintage cookbooks. I love kind of more odd ones. This one seems a little odd. I do also love that there are multiple inscriptions on the inside. One from 1957, one from 1986. The royalties from this go to the Actors Orphanage. There is an interesting sort of people who are on the stage connection with this that I don't really understand, but this could be fascinating. And then the piece de resistance is this book, just hats. I mean, status, style, and glamour. And it's just, there's the first one I opened to is the hennin. And there seems to be a hennin resurgence these days. There's so many videos right now of fun makers making hennins. Oh, here we go. It's a Tibetan monk hat. So it's not just fashion. It is a bit of headwear history. I genuinely didn't even flip through it. I just grabbed it because it looked so great. So I'm excited to go through this one. This might just live on the coffee table so I can flip through at my leisure. Okay, we're gonna get started. I don't know what I'm gonna need to complete this. It's called the Barcelona design. So let's see this together. Okay, we've got a bunch of yarns. It's this peacocky color, a lime, and a white. It's the canvas. Anything else in there? Okay. Directions for Barcelona. This is from 1976, 1977. Each square on the chart represents one stitch. That makes sense. Begin your work in the design area, using the chart to count stitches as you work. Fill in the background, just the plain squares, only when your design work is finished. For a pillow, work to boundary marks. For a chair seat, work to curved corner marks. I think, oh, there's the curved corner marks. Okay, that must be the backing. Okay, oh, it's soft though. I don't know, I think I kind of want to do the pillow. That's what we're working with. Here's my needle. It was tucked up in the canvas. It's just sort of a giant blunt embroidery needle. Much like crewel embroidery. It's bigger than, you know, a regular embroidery needle. Okay, so now I'm covered in all of these things. Here's just some cardboard. Here's the backing. That is the entirety of the instructions. Okay. And I guess you just cross. This is going to be interesting. And then if you want it to actually look right, you have to kind of do them all at the same time. Okay. This unfortunately might be I just have to jump in and try it, and I might have to kind of redo some stuff, but that's okay. We are going to start with the center, which is the blue. So let's grab some blue. Yeah, I think I'm going to turn this into a pillow. Quick spun heavy all-purpose yarn for rugs, pillows, wall hangings, and boutique gift items. 100% acrylic. Non-allergenic. We will see. All that dust that's in there. So the only other needle point that I've done, this is really funny, I did that super tiny brooch, and now I'm doing this big fat guy. I don't know why I can't just do normal size anything. Starting in the middle, like they suggest. I'm pulling it, so I've got about that much left under there. And if I'm looking at the picture correctly, just go one diagonal over for each stitch. Okay. I never claimed to be a neat crafter. Yeah, this canvas is so like, just wants to hang on to everything. Okay. Ugh, it's like sticking to my dress, sticking to itself. Okay. Stitch 1 complete. All right. Maybe there's a better way to do this, like I hold the whole, like the ball of yarn. All right, there we go. Let's do one more. It's just stuck on everything. Okay, so far though, even though this is just problematic and sticky, which I think it'll, as more stitches, you know, get in there, it'll become less so. It's fun. I like it. I do feel like a tiny, I don't know, like I've been shrunken down and I'm just trying to do regular people size things. Kind of like I'm a borrower, you know? All right, so we are on 3 stitches. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna carry on throughout my day and I'm gonna continue on with this. And I'll meet you back here when there's more progress. Okay, so it's time to admit that I've learned some things while doing these projects this week. One, I always think things are going to take less time, tools, know-how than they do. I don't know. I think I can always just sort of jump in and do it. It'll be fine. And 9 times out of 10 turns out to not be the case. I've also learned that the battery on my camera will die the second I've actually figured something out or I'm in the middle of doing a thing. I've learned that this project, my year of creativity, my year of rediscovering, finding creativity, at the beginning I thought it was going to be a little bit more scientific, that I would keep a log of projects and that I would come to you with, this is what I've done, this is what I've completed, this is how I feel about it. And while I think those reactions to what I'm doing is important, I've realized, I mean, it just doesn't work with how my brain works to keep such a methodical catalog of creativity. It's sort of anathema in my mind. It just seems non-creative and therefore it makes me not want to do it. I've realized I need to be able to just sort of do what I want to do when I'm interested in doing it, and sort of this being the way that I'm keeping track of it. And I'm okay with that. So I've learned a few things this week. 70s and early or vintage crafts always are going to need supply replacements and are going to be a little weird. But they're still fun, and I'm so glad that I'm kind of doing them. I like this idea of sort of a roulette version of just picking one at random. I think I'm going to do that with a few more things, so stay tuned for that. That said, my project that I decided to start, this is the first project, and I'm still using it. The thrift flip of an old moth-eaten dress that I turned into my project bag. This is the seat cover / pillow project that was supposed to be this Quickpoint. Yeah, so in my mind, I was like, oh, I can just sit down and knock this out in an evening. No, I cannot. I started doing it, and I mean, I've made progress for sure, but I had to unpick a whole section of it last night. The printing on it, as I'm realizing with all of these vintage needlecraft projects, it's just not printed in a way that makes mathematical sense. So sometimes it's uneven, sometimes it just doesn't match, and it just happens to be because it's, you know, kind of slapped on this thing and the squares aren't necessarily going to line up. So I had to unpick a whole section so I could kind of try and make it look more matchy. So this is as far as I've gotten it. And I've worked on this for a little bit each day the past couple days. It is taking much longer than, I don't know why I thought I could knock it up in afternoon. I'm sure if I just sat down and worked for 4, no, I say that, and as I'm looking at, no, I knew I would still maybe only get like this sort of a section done. But I did want to work on it a little bit while I chat to you about what I think is coming up for how I record my creative finding, what I think I'm going to be doing in the future, and just hope you'll hang out with me for a little cozy afternoon Quickpoint, which we're learning. So again, I've never really done needlepoint except for one of the projects I did for this sort of experiment, and that was this tiny, tiny little brooch. I will insert photo. This is different. This is massive, but somehow the same. I don't know why cross-stitch needlepoint boggles my mind a little bit, but it does. I don't know why. Embroidery doesn't. Embroidery, not a problem. I don't know why. And maybe because there's some math involved, which is not my strong suit. But I do like this. I am enjoying it, and I am looking forward to doing more. I do think I need to wash this lining before we make our very cute pillow. So the yarn, we're working our way through it. It does lose, first of all, it's the exact color of Cookie Monster. But as you're pulling it through, which can happen with some of the crewel embroidery, there's some tension on the yarn, so it does pull off. But because this is like a plastic yarn and this canvas is plasticky, it sort of, yes, it pulls fibers out, but it leaves, you know, kind of the fibers there, but somehow doesn't really seem to be weakening it all that much, which, great. So, as I was saying, I do very much want to continue on my, it's like very 2016, right? Hashtag year of creativity. I do want to continue on this year, and I do want to keep a record, but I don't think I need to do sort of what I had thought I needed to, which was like, I don't know, keep a spreadsheet of every project that I've done. I've absolutely finished some of those Fat of the Month Club kits that I showed, but I didn't show me making them. I didn't film me doing them. Not because I don't want to show the creative process or I was being lazy or anything. It was just I was in the moment of being creative, and I thought that was important, and I just kind of got an urge to get one out on a Sunday morning and do it, and so I did, and I thought that was fantastic, and I think that is what this project is truly about. So I do think I'm not going to worry about documenting every single piece of creativity I engage in, because sometimes it's sort of on the fly. Sometimes doing creative acts, or I'm going creative places, or I am kind of gathering inspiration, and I'm not consciously doing it. I'm not saying, oh, okay, well, for YouTube, I need to record this. I need to engage in this for, you know, my project, and I'm not thinking about it in that way. And I think that that actually makes me more creative, rather than trying to not force it, but really being kind of hyper vigilant about documenting every single thing would really take the joy out of it and the fun out of it for me. And this whole thing is supposed to be about creativity and fun and enjoyment. So I think me documenting things like on a spreadsheet or, you know, giving a PowerPoint presentation about it is not the way that I'm going to want to go in the future. So I'm going to worry less about doing that. But I'm going to share as many creative projects as, you know, I see fit that get captured. I'm so glad I did the 70s project, the natural jewelry one, because that was just something to have so quickly, right? Like, it's just physical, what's that, instant gratification. So that's really fun to have, and again, I'm really glad I did it, and I want to do more of those. But I think long-term, this concept of finding creativity, of rediscovering my creative self, so much of it is going to be intangible. So much of it is going to just be the way I think about things, how I approach certain things, and that's fine. And I don't know that I could document that, so I'm not going to worry about it. So what I am going to do is I'm going to continue to do these fun, sort of in-the-moment projects that take little time but allow me to really flex that creative muscle. I'm definitely going to continue doing things like this that take a little bit longer time. I want to go take some sort of workshop or class to learn a skill that I, you know, not that I couldn't teach myself, but maybe I don't have this pleasure, like maybe a pottery course or something that, you know, like rug tufting that I know I'm not going to invest in all of the supplies and everything for, but I still think would be fun. And I think part of that would be the interacting with other people who are also making a conscious choice to interact with other people who are engaging in intentional creativity. Sounds like such a mouthful, but basically I want to go hang out with other people that are doing fun stuff. So I'm going to do some of those, I think. The big one that I keep sort of returning to and kind of beating myself up about, and also not, is learning to edit these videos with a software that's more advanced and that has more capabilities. It allows me to do more things. I consider that, you know, absolutely a creative endeavor, and I want to do it. I don't know why it hasn't been a priority. Every time I sit down to do it, I last about 3 minutes of a tutorial, and then I just lose interest. I don't know why. So I really do want to figure that out. We'll see how that comes about. So that's sort of the big game plan, is really just to continue doing what I'm doing, document more vloggy style than each one of these videos be here's me doing a project and here's me finishing a project, because as I've learned, it's difficult for me to just sit beginning to end, finish a project, even though I know that's good for the storytelling of it. You know, it doesn't really work how I work necessarily. So we'll see how that goes. I'm like the natural jewelry, there'll absolutely be some finished projects, start to finish, soups to nuts, all the things in one video. And some like these, I will absolutely show you the finished product of this in the next one, hopefully. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really starting to enjoy this process. There are definitely things that I'm excited to learn, but I got to figure out how to carve the time out between my work schedule, my client schedule, kind of all of the, you know, the life things that you've got to do. Taking a big long course, like there is a sewing course that I really want to take, you know, again, these sort of maybe one-off workshops that I do want to take. It is about creating the time for them. You can't find the time. It's not, you know, a dust bunny under the couch, but I need to create the time to do those. So I need to sit down with a calendar and really look at what that looks like. I do have a lot going on this summer, but I think the inertia is here, and I think the momentum is here, and I think I want to kind of get that going. So that's the plan. If you want to, you know, have me on in the background as a body double as you get some stuff done, that's fantastic. I do that with a lot of creators on YouTube. If you have suggestions for a project you think I should tackle next, definitely leave it in the comments. Let me know. Subscribe if you want to kind of hang out with me and, you know, watch as I fail a lot of the times, but come up with some fun, beautiful things some of the time. I'm really enjoying this, and I'd love if you came along for the ride. So I'm gonna sit here and I am going to work on this, you know, for the next little while or so before I've got to get off to do things that I need to do for my day. Until I see you next time, stay creative, stay crafty, stay interested. Happy Pride Month, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.